because realistically in London, that 50, 30, 20 is a hard ideal to achieve, right?
So what was 50?
The 50 was your bills, your thing, essentials that need to go out. So your bills, your rent or mortgage, your this, your that. The 30 is your leather jacket, your 3 pairs of shoes. And then was the 20 savings?
Yeah, towards savings or paying off debt.
But what's crazy is, so he had that, and I read that bit, and I was like, okay, cool. This doesn't really sound realistic in a London climate, which where we are at the moment.
Kids that sometimes, can you buy this magazine? We're doing this about knife crime or whatever. So
Yeah.
I might just give them a £5, keep the magazine, whatnot. Then the 70% is to pay for your bills and whatever, what have you. So that's how I currently do it.
Okay, that's interesting, because some of that I automatically do. So with the company I work for, before the salary hits my account, a percentage goes out towards stocks and shares within the same company. So that's one thing. And then obviously, in some way, not that I do the 10-10-70, but it's almost like I've inadvertently set up that have a system kind of running that way. And I'll see a godson and drop him a 40. Do you know what I'm saying? And not even, it's just, that's my godson I haven't seen for a while. To hold that, so I know you're not going to go and not rob, but you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on.
All right, let's move on. The book suggests that a good way of achieving this balance is to divide your net income, your take-home pay, into these categories in the following way. Spend 50% of your net income on the things you need, and 30% on the things you want, and 20% towards savings or paying off debt. And that's page 27. So off the bat, do you think this is a good system, and is it realistic to do considering the cost of living crisis we're currently in?
So it's too busy eating the sweet. But what I did think when you was talking about your rule per se, I was trying to think whether it was better than the 50, 30, 20. In that nothing to, not that one's more realistic, or not that the 50, 30, 20 is not realistic, but I thought, is it more realistic for where some of us are? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I say some of us are. In that I think you can save 10%. I mean, I think you can save 10%. And I think generally speaking...
it doesn't have to be like... In the book it says 10%. Now that's try to stick to 10%. But if your income dictates that it has to be 5%, or if you can do more than 10%, then great. So it just, obviously it's an individual thing, but it gives you a basis to work around.
Cool, I understand it has like flexibility, but I think, I paused for a moment to think about it as to like, I don't know, 10%. Well, anyway, you get my point. 10%, because I think the 20% was a saving, or the 30% was a saving with the other one. I think 10% might be a bit more realistic. And then the other 10% was in regards to tithing and stuff like that. That's something generally, I think, anyway, a lot of us do in our communities, our parents and all that type of stuff, where they're going to church, etc., etc. So that's kind of like built and ingrained in some respect. And the idea that you would spend 70% on the other things, whether it's rent, this, that, and a third, I just feel it's more likely to be a bit more suitable to like our incomes and stuff like that. Whereas the other one, and I don't want to go too much into it as such, I'm not too sure whether it's... I just don't know if it was realistic. Yeah, I might be wrong.
That was the question.
Yeah, I'm just not too sure.
I was of the same opinion as you, Pox, in that when I read that part of the book and he put the 50, 30, 20 was spouted, I thought, okay, this is obviously is a book to appeal to the masses, because realistically in London, that 50, 30, 20 is a hard ideal to achieve, right?
So what was 50?
The 50 was your bills, your thing, essentials that need to go out. So your bills, your rent or mortgage, your this, your that. The 30 is your leather jacket, your 3 pairs of shoes. And then was the 20 savings?
Yeah, towards savings or paying off debt.
But what's crazy is, so he had that, and I read that bit, and I was like, okay, cool. This doesn't really sound realistic in a London climate, which where we are at the moment. And then on the flip side, he gave an example on like a page or two later, where he refers to, okay, so let's say your 50, 30, 20, your 50 comes to £1,200. I don't know if you lot saw that example. He does a table, and he says like you're 50. I said, say like someone's earning 2,500. You're 50% your rent or mortgage plus your bills and everything only comes to £1,200. I was thinking, brother, this ain't London living like right now, because that 1,200. Listen, that might even cover a man's rent or a man's mortgage.
Just about.
Don't cover my mortgage. Let's put it that way. So
that's just what I'm saying. Just
yeah.
about.
So
don't cover.
And then you got to put all the essential outgoings on top of that. I said, so that don't really appeal to me what you're saying, brother. Because that, if you're saying that, then really some of that 30's got to again shift to make that a 60 or 70. Do you get what I'm saying? And then I can't achieve what you're moving towards with the others. But I can live with that. We make it work. We make it work. You get me? See, I didn't think it was realistic, but as I said, it's all about not perspective. It's all about where you are with it. And as you mentioned earlier, French, it's about you can juggle the numbers to suit you, if that makes sense, and try and take the principles he's trying to relay from the book. You get me?
Yeah, for sure. As he goes on to say, everyone's finances are different, and you have to consider things like how much money you make, the cost of living, and your current commitments. For most people, the first bucket consumes the majority of their income, which means there isn't much left to distribute between the remaining two. That's on page 27. So at what point does budgeting, do we admit that Netflix is a necessity rather than a...
Brother, Netflix is in my house, yeah? But I've never ever...
a luxury.
Bruv, I'll tell you straight. Listen, I've never ever... You know, man, growing up had the free... You know, like, man had the Sky box. We didn't have Sky. So I just had the Channel U and them free stations, bro. Be honest, brother, I don't even say this online, out loud, but who's got a link? Boxing's on tonight. Who's got a link? I'm one of them, man, bro.
I'll say a lot of people like that, though. Germany's, yeah. I say a lot of people like that.
Yeah, but like, I'm not... and to be honest, the day and time that all of us live in, I wouldn't get my money's worth paying for a subscription such as a Sky or a BT. I don't watch TV like that. I might want to flick on a movie. I might want to flick on a quick program or quick series. I don't watch TV where I'm going to like, right, I'm getting my money's worth paying £60 a month. Do you get what I'm saying? Netflix is in my household, but that's one thing I don't pay for. If it wasn't there, it wouldn't be missed. Yeah. It's just that when me and my partner come together, she's always been a Netflix subscriber. So she's kept that part of it. Yeah. Will man watch a show on Netflix or a TV movie or something on a one-off? Yes, I will, because it's there. If she said, I don't want this no more, I'm not paying for it, or do you want to pay half? Cut the thing off. I don't need it that bad. Netflix ain't an essential for me.
Yeah, no, it's a tongue-in-cheek question, really.
Yeah.
Again, no, I don't have Netflix, but I have Amazon Prime. But the only reason why I have it is because, I buy stuff on Amazon, so it makes sense, I guess. After the first time of, you buy the Prime and you cut it off, but it's like I might as well keep it because it actually makes sense. Because more often than not, when I'm ordering from Amazon, I need that. I was about to say I need that shit straight away. Do you know what I mean? I need that tomorrow. I need that now. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's pointless paying the $3.99 or extra. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've just kept Prime. And I don't think it really costs that much. I think it's I don't say it doesn't cost $8.99 or something like that. Or
I don't know. I just pay for Prime Video. I should just get the whole thing, really.
I didn't even know you could pay for Prime Video separate.
Yeah, I didn't think so. No.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So I have Prime, but
I don't... crazy though. Like people actually, you have to kind of budget that into your monthly incomes now. People budget like these things. Like it's a change. Like when you think about it in the grand scheme of thing, it's a change. It's a £8. It's a £10. It's a £6 or whatnot. But people genuinely have to consider whether I'm going to keep it or not. Like in this, as I said before, in this living crisis that we're currently in.
It's mad because I was talking to someone today. It was today about electric cars. So he has one. He said he's quite fortunate. He charges his car at work. All right. So he said when he goes to Shell or what have you, I wasn't going to say it, but when he goes to one of those, it's almost like a treat. He's like, yeah, I'm going. I get to charge my car and I get to buy a coffee, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? That's how I used to feel. But I used to feel like that when I was paying £7 to charge my car. I said, now if I go to one of those, it'll cost me 30, 40. It can cost me a lot of money. So my thoughts going
each time to charge.
But I use the overnight one now, so I don't have that sort of problem. But more often than not, when I'm going to use one of those If I wanted a full charge, it was just going to cost me an arm and a leg, definitely like 30, 40. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, it would cost me like probably £7, £8 to charge from start to end. And that was only like just about 2 years, just over 2 years ago kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I said like my experience is completely different from yours. Do you know what I mean? So, but back to that, the £8 and all that type of stuff, I guess when, back to our cost of living, when with things improving, with things increasing away from energy, because I'm sure there's food and other bits and bobs. Right. I guess those £8, you know what I mean, they start to, you start looking at what you need and what you don't need. Do you know what I mean? Because I had Netflix once upon a time. That's long gone. Do you know what I'm saying? And if I didn't really order off Amazon regularly enough, and I don't think I need to review it, but I mean, I would get rid of that as well.
Yeah, those things are quite expendable. They can go at any time.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
If I didn't have it, I can live without it. It's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. So on a more serious note, working out your cash flow. The term cash flow is more than just a fancy phrase that people, often those running businesses, use to sound savvy. In business terms, it can be simply defined as the amount of money coming in and going out over a given period of time. When you deliberately monitor your cash flow, it will provide clarity around your financial obligations, as well as helping to expose any patterns in your spending, whether good or bad. Understanding your personal cash flow will fundamentally help you to answer some very important questions, such as: does your current income allow you to meet all your financial obligations, such as paying your bills? How does your spending align with your priorities? And where and how is your surplus income spent? We can go through these questions in terms of: have you asked yourself these questions, and how did you answer them?
So we can go from one by one. So what was the first question? Sorry.
Does your current income allow you to meet all your financial obligations?
Yeah, I don't have that problem now.
And how does your spending align with your priorities?
My spending and my priorities. I think, again, it depends on what your priorities are. And that's why, like, I have found the book a bit interesting in some respect. And I'll probably make heads or tails of it at some given point. And I said very earlier as to not me being a little bit different, but actually my priorities are, I want to say my dreams, but what do I really, really want? Do you know what I mean? So I put almost everything like into what I want to do. I don't play around with what I want to do in life. Do you know what I'm saying? So I invest a lot of my time and a lot of my money into that type of stuff. And I guess people can, I don't know if the word subjective as to whether that's your priority or not your priority, but generally speaking, those are my priorities. Do you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of this month, I need to start thinking about what do I really want to achieve going into November and December. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, well, yeah, as to November and December. And it's going to cost me a lot of money. And I've got to ask myself, am I prepared to spend that amount of money on what might be a campaign, or do I want to save that? But I know that's the back of my mind. I'm doing whatever I need to do, like what's important to Andrew in terms of long term of what's going to fulfill Andrew. That's what I'm more likely to do. And I think that's the way I'm a bit more, I don't want to say adverse, but like, if that's the word anyway, because you know we've used words such as risk averse, etc., etc. If you're going to ask me, am I going to save or put my money into what I really want to do in life? I'm putting my money in what I want to do in life. Yeah, and I don't know how people feel about that, generally speaking, but that's just always been me. And that's why I speak about the pot needs to get bigger.
I was just going to say, do you always speak in third person?
Probably.
You do?
Yeah. Probably.
How about you, Base?
Yeah, my income currently matches...
meets all your...
Yes, my obligations. And in terms of...
you didn't answer.
Third question. I was going to say that, yeah. I was thinking I get a third question, but...
Where and how is your surplus income spent?
Dreams, more money for dreams. It just goes in. Or, you know what the problem is? I always have too much going on. There's too much going on. Like, so... Yeah, there's just too much going on. So it was like, yeah. Too much dreams and not enough money. Yeah, so that's what I would say. Yeah, like keeping it short and simple.
Yeah, what was the second
And more
part?
leather jackets.
What was the second part?
How does your spending align with your priorities?
Well, my priorities, family. So my spending is first and foremost, can I keep the roof over our head? That's where the bills and that come from the first of the month. The next thing is, there is no next. No, there is, but like the next thing is like, okay, can we have a nice day out on a Saturday? Do you know what I'm saying? It's more that, like, that's my priorities is like family life right now.
Yeah.
Roof, food, my son happy, Mrs. okay, all that. That's my priorities now. And then if there's anything left over, maybe I'll buy myself a 1-2 treat. But yeah, that's my priorities.
And where and how is your surplus income spent?
Surplus income.
Cookies.
No, we try to take a nice little vacay now and again as a family. We've done a couple this year, which has been really good. I've done a couple, not solo, but with the man them. No Diddy. So yeah, like it will be just like activities, I guess. But all those activities, any surplus, if I need that surplus for family life, that all can get cut off tomorrow. It doesn't bother. I'm glad I've lived a life that I'm kind of happy with, and now I've got the family life, and I don't mind diverting everything that I need to that. If I need to cut all that out, doesn't bother me.
Cool. All right. Of course, some of us define being rich as having money in the bank, and others having freedom and choice. But to demonstrate my point, let's stick with the idea of riches being lots and lots of money. That's on page 29. How would you define being rich?
For me, being rich is not having to worry about where a paycheck or income is coming from. That's to me, that's rich to me. Like, not having to worry about where a paycheck or income is going to come from. I'm not going to put a number on it because it might be, to one person, that might be 100,000, to another person might be 100 million. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just not having to worry about, and I don't live an expansive lifestyle. So as I said, like, it's just being rich is not having to worry about a paycheck or an income. Like, for me, that to me is rich. Like, in terms of when we're talking about kind of wealth or money, like monetary terms.
It'd probably be very similar. I was going to use not childish phrase, or sometimes when you got a lot of surplus, and I'll go, you kind of rich, or you got a lot of money. Let's say a lot of surplus, or not having to worry about money in some respects. And then I was even thinking about the terminology of being rich and wealthy, because depending on what you're reading, some people will say rich is higher than wealth. I don't know, but like I don't know where I saw that recently.
I think wealth is more long term and expansive.
But something I saw recently, I think flip them round or what have you. Flip them round. But yeah, I'll say rich having like some form of surplus and not having to worry. Yeah.
What about being time rich? Do you believe in that, buying back your time?
That is very, very important to me. That's massive to me, particularly as we're getting older as well. And as I talk about what I've spoken about before, I guess in my experience in Barcelona, like I learned, having time to yourself is like really, really important to plan, prepare, etc., etc. Even as of now, actually, like this week, depending on how I work, like I hope I'll take a 3-day weekend. Not that I can. Sorry, when I say not that I can afford it, I got other shit to do and pay for. But like if I've worked hard enough, I'll go. No, my time is more valuable, and I need that time. Do you know what I mean, to do bits and bobs. So yeah, I will do. I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to, but like thus far, well, yeah.
See, I'm kind of gonna cheat and use my first answer and say that if I'm not worrying about income or payslip, essentially for me that means I can take the time or have time. Does that make sense? Because I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to clock in, clock out, and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I think they're similar. I think being rich is being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want. That's what I really want to achieve. With that being said, that also is being time rich. So, you don't have to worry about working to pay these bills because that's all covered. So you can have your time to invest in yourself, in people around you, whether it's for leisure, for gaining a new skill, whether it's traveling, wherever it is that me personally as I see fit. But that's how I consider rich. In terms of wealth, like you mentioned, I think wealth is something that you pass on. I don't think it's... I think, obviously, rich and wealth are related, but I think wealth is more, that's a long-term plan. Like, you plan for wealth. Like, this is for generations beyond me. Like, this is for my kids, kids, sort of thing. That's wealth. Like, which is great. I wasn't born into wealth, but I do want to be able to leave wealth. And it doesn't just have to be financial. It could be mental wealth. It could be experience. It could be through, as you've done already, P, you've written a book. That could be a wealth of knowledge for someone else to gain and to learn from, as I'm actually doing at the moment and plan to do, in terms of leave what I've learned to some degree. I think that is a form of wealth as well. So, yeah. But, yeah, riches can be defined how you personally see. Everyone has their own definition of rich, but yeah, similar to yourself, it's about, for me anyway, being able to do as and when. Yeah. All right, moving on. I knew vaguely that I could buy the things I wanted within reason, but I had no idea where my money was actually going. I couldn't see if I was being wasteful, or whether my spending pattern would allow for any unexpected bills, or even worse, a drop in income. I didn't know my opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the value of the alternative you give up whenever you make a decision. In other words, when you commit to doing something in one way, what other options have you neglected in order to pursue your chosen route? This concept is a useful reminder that we should explore all reasonable alternatives before making an important decision. That's on page 30. Do you currently consider the opportunity cost before making the financial decisions?
Probably inadvertently or not subconsciously, I might. But it's a good thing. The opportunity cost question is a good thing because I often go back to there was a couple of years where I dropped out of formal education. I didn't do sweet FA, and on top of that, there's 3 years I spent at uni, and I often think about the opportunity cost with those 3 years. In that, typically, traditionally, you're meant to build a network and all the rest of it. I didn't build a network at uni. I left with about 4 friends, I'll be honest, or 4 or 5 people that I keep in contact with from uni. And I don't see it that often. Like my friends are still from the ends or from high school or from family, whatever. And I often think about, I kind of took money out. I could have got through uni without taking money out. I took money out and ended up paying back a ton load. I didn't do anything with it. I had to pay back a ton load I didn't really need to do. 3 years of studying, okay, I got this piece of paper and these letters, but I kind of could have got to where I've got to without that. What did I give up? And then I talk about my friend that I met at my place of work, who already had properties, and told me about that. What did I give up? Because actually that was around the point where you could be, if I had worked full time, you could have been getting these mortgages, but would I have been thinking in that light is another question. Would I have had some of the communication skills I now have is another question. There's many a kind of opportunity costs you can think about. Uni is one of the biggest ones I think about though, in terms of what did I give up by doing that, taking out money I shouldn't really have touched because of the interest. What could I have, done instead? But probably nowadays, subconsciously, I might think about that. Like even, I went Barcelona a week or 2 ago for a friend's birthday. The opportunity cost of that was, that's a week and I'm not seeing my son, which is like, actually, there's a spend, so there's an opportunity cost there. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, subconsciously, you're kind of always, I'm always weighing up, what could I be doing instead?
Forgot the question.
No, because the first thing I was gonna, I thought about, sorry, the books allowed me to reflect quite a bit. All right, generally speaking, I was gonna add on maybe one or two things you said, but I guess I'll just start with where I was gonna go. I feel I'm supposed to be exactly where I am at this moment in time. And I think that's very easy to say because it is what it is in some respect. You might mention wisdom. Oh, you were talking about wisdom in some respect. All right, and I thought to myself, I always say this in regards to football. If I was a footballer, all right, if I turned professional, my money will be long gone. And that's not because I'm dumb or anything like that. I just feel with where I was, like as in like at the age of just say 19, 20, if I turned pro, with where my financial literacy was at the time, my money, I just believe that, like, I'm not saying I'd have been in, but I'm just saying like my money would have been gone in some respect. Whereas now, a lot of things have happened in life, good, bad, and indifferent. And I feel I'm in a place where, yes, financially, I'm not where I want to be, all right? But I feel with the wisdom I have, I just feel I'm perfectly placed to change things. Do you know what I mean? I hope that answers the question in some respect. But like, opportunity cost, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's it, uni. I can't, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I had a phenomenal time. I can't, like, so, but I know you're not saying you didn't have a good time. I feel irrespective of the cost and all that type of stuff, I wouldn't change that. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there are other bits and bobs as well. But
think more present, because I know, obviously, Mace, you've gone back to uni.
Yeah.
Well, spoke about uni, not gone back to uni. But what about more of recent time? When you make a financial decision, do you consider, I guess, the opportunity cost that it's going to take?
Yeah, you mentioned you tried to use the word impulsive buyer. I mean, I'm not saying I'm like that all the way. Do you know, I definitely consider things. But this year, I wanted to go away close to every single month, right? And I've pretty much done a lot of that anyway. And I think a lot of that I've definitely thought of the pros and the cons. In fact, we spoke about that actually, as to me being fatigued and in between those trips, like either being high or low and all that type of stuff. And when I look back, like it's been a very, very eventful 10, 11, like 12 months thus far. So I can't really complain. But I think every single one of those trips has been hugely beneficial. I mean, I think of the most recent one, Milan. Milan. Had a good time. Always have a laugh when I go away, whether it was with Oscar or Lawrence. Went to watch Inter Milan, then pick up the trophy. It was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal day in itself. Do you know what I mean? That's my birthday weekend. So you always remember your birthday weekend in some respect. Been to Barcelona or Costa Brava. Yes, had a great time doing X, Y, Z, but actually went there on business as well. So I factored those sort of things in. And I'm sure there are other trips in which I've done the same thing as well. But yeah, I think about the pros and the cons. But more often than not, I guess at this point in life, yes, investing in myself is really, really important. So I always factor that in. But I also try to think about investing in me having a good time. And I don't know if that's been something I've been thinking about specifically as to this year, but I think it's really important that I have a good time in whatever I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? And it even goes back to, because I know we discussed this very recently, I don't know if it was on the pod or what have you, like I try to ensure that a lot of my social activities are built in what I do. So I know there's a smile somewhere, do you know what I mean? Somewhere like, so yeah, I don't know why I feel like some days are a bit weird now recently, but like, yeah, like just try to ensure, so you know there's a smile or a laugh somewhere around the corner. Yeah, between Tuesday and Friday, it might be a bit empty, as in I'm not seeing many people. But generally speaking, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm seeing a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? Irrespective of work. And someone is always going to make you laugh at work, you know what I mean? Depending on how you feel.
Cool. The dopamine effect. In reference to dopamine, for some people, this creates the urge to re-experience the thrill that the instant reward of tapping your card in store or checking out online can provide. Those who are severely impacted by this can be diagnosed with onion mania, a term is that what you was referring to before, a term that combines the word onios, Greek for sale, with mania, Latin for madness. Oniomania is used to describe people with uncontrollable and compulsive shopping habits. Page 30. Is retail therapy a real thing or just a made-up term? There's a 3-part question. Have you succumbed to it, and how do you feel, and for how long?
Do you know, I can answer this obviously now. I don't think. Nah, actually, I'm about to lie. No, because I said like the books allow me to reflect. So I think I mentioned this earlier. about the lack of, all right, in terms of retail therapy. But that's way back when. I'm not too sure I'm able to go too deep into it as to, because I haven't really thought enough about it. But in that period, obviously, in which I wrote the book, etc., I know it was definitely a thing, in that I needed some retail therapy to make me a bit more happier in some respect. You know what I'm saying? So retail therapy definitely is a thing. I mean, I think it concerns me, generally speaking, about the wider pop, in that, you know, everyone's quite low at this moment in time. So people might be doing a bit more retail therapy if they've got any disposable income. So yes, retail therapy is definitely a good thing. And so what's the second part of the question?
Have you succumbed to it?
Definitely. Right. And I think there's a third part.
How did you feel, and for how long?
It's mad, all right, because I bought these 2 pair of shoes recently, all right, and I went for 1 pair.
Oh, you actually went rather than online?
I wanted to, no. So I bought it from Marks. Sorry, bought from Marks, all right, but I'm trying to think, why did I...
getting old.
Yeah, I thought that too, but decent pair, bro. Why did I go in? I don't think I went in there for the shoes. I think I happened to be past, obviously, because
He's buying cakes, bro.
No. There must have been a reason. I went. I'll be in box 7. I must have been in Ealing for Happy Snaps or something like that. I went to some photos to stand the third. Anyway, and I thought I might as well just try them on because I've seen them on IG or something. You know, ads and all that type of shit. So let me just have a look.
What?
Instagram, sorry. So no, the ads for Marks and Spencer popped up on my phone.
Okay.
No, yeah, no. So I saw the pair of shoes and I thought, oh,
what, on the ad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I seen it. Yeah, and then I thought, I'm in Marks. Let me see if they've got them.
Yeah.
So I tried them on. Decent pair of shoes, and then I bought a second pair of shoes, which actually looked like another pair of shoes I got. But I said these look decent too, and so I ended up buying it. There was no real need, but I told myself again, I was in that place where I thought, you know, I need a bit of a pick me up. Let's buy these pair of shoes. They look good. Look decent. A little bit different to the ones I've got, but very, 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 very similar. But I thought, let's cop them.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's a real thing for you then.
So how did
I feel?
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about a pair of shoes. If they're somewhere, just dump somewhere actually, which is not really good actually. But even back to what I was saying earlier, all right.
So that retail therapy was a short-lived.
It's short-lived in some respect, but it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't know if I said this on mic or on cam, as to like I've got all these pair of shoes. I got bare shoes this year. I bought 1, 2. I got 3 pair of Dr. Martens, at least 3. All right. And these 2 pair of shoes that I'm telling you about. And I might have other pair of shoes that I just
got 1 pair of feet.
Yeah, I've got remember I got these Birkenstocks, right? Decent pair of Birkenstocks, by the way, like cloggy ones. All right, I didn't buy them for a lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right, and I always wonder why I got them. As in, like, they look good on. I've worn them a couple of times, literally a couple of times. But why have I got them? And it goes back to, I think, something you just said moments ago. Got a pair of feet and I got millions of shoes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that dopamine hit didn't last very long.
Fair enough.
Not very long.
Happens. What about you, Mace?
Is retail therapy a real thing? It is a real thing. I don't tend to succumb to it though. As I said, man, my priorities are different right about now, man. It's household, it's family life. That comes last. So I don't really succumb to it that often. But once upon a time, I was out weekly. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah,
I was out there, Madhouse, Tottenham Court Road, Probito. I was out there
all of that
weekly. Yeah, without fail, weekly. Yo, we going up the street today. Yeah.
So
We going Slough Foot Locker. Remember when only Slough had Foot Locker? We going Slough Foot Locker. I was out there weekly. Like I need to bring something back. It's like being sent out there. I'm coming back with the good. Like I need to bring something
with the goods.
Coming back empty-handed. That's a downer.
It was a bad, yeah.
It's a downer. I need to bring something back. So as you bring something back, you're like, what did the mirror show me that my home mirror's not showing me? Because you bring it back, try to be like, yo, I'm never wearing this. Yeah, so it's been a thing, but it hasn't been a thing for me for a while. So I don't succumb to retail therapy is a thing. I don't succumb to it though. It's not really a thing for me.
Yeah, it don't hit no more.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Even when I go out and I wouldn't even say I go on shopping sprees no more, because I used to go out and just do the mad thing. But now, even when I buy something new, it doesn't hit. Like, it doesn't hit. Like, I could buy a new set, like a couple new sets, like, oh, I'm going to step out in this. And I'm just like, before I'd have been like, I'm gassed. I can't wait to wear this. Now I'm like, bro, I don't care.
See,
Like, even with stuff that I I genuinely like the stuff, but don't hit.
This is gonna sound mad. I look at clothing like flipping investments. I buy stuff to put down. I know it sounds mad. I will buy something, and I won't wear it for 6 or 7 months. It's like I buy something like, yeah, cool. I'll wear that in November. It's like Feb. I'm like, yep, that's for November.
That's cool. I like that.
Like literally, I buy stuff to put down. Like, okay, cool. You can be my winter jacket, and I bought you in January. You're my winter jacket coming up.
But that dopamine, that's what I'm saying. The dopamine that I used to get when I used to buy new things, I don't get it.
That rush don't come.
I don't get it whatsoever. Like, I used to be excited to buy new things. Like, I've got this new pair of kicks, or I've got this new jacket, or this new fit right here. I've got a new little set, the 1-2. Now it's just like, all right, cool. I got this something, and I've spent whatever I've spent on it, and I go home and just put it in the wardrobe, and it's not exciting. Like, I don't get excited, whereas before, once upon a time, I was excited. Whatever purchase I got, anything was brand new. It was like, this is it.
It's just become practical to me now.
All right, so I'm glad you say that. All right, I don't know if it's a little bit different for you, right? But because of what we do for a living, we're often in clothes which are, I don't know, mundane's the right word, but you get my point in some respect. So you get used to seeing yourself like that, all right? And you're like that Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday in some respect, all right? I know you're not working every single day, but you get my point, which is brought me on this road, all right, where I bought a couple things recently, as in, I need to kind of switch it up a bit, fam. No, just like, were you moving ragged? Not raggedy, but like, my Crocs are squeaking now. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm walking today. Do you know? But I guess my point is like, same goes for yourself and anybody. To be fair, you have clothes to look nice, but you're.
I get it.
I don't say moving mad because it's not you're moving mad. It's just that if you work in those clothes, you work in those clothes. But I guess I just told myself actually, almost like look good, feel good, or just I don't know.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I've got my work uniform. So my work uniform's my work uniform. So I know when I step out in my actual clothes and man's patterns, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. But even if I buy a new Suttons, it just doesn't hit no more, regardless of what it is. I could buy a pair of Christian Dior Suttons or Prada Suttons or fill in the blank. It just doesn't hit no more for me. Like it doesn't matter for me no more. Like it's not to say I don't care, but it just doesn't have that same dopamine effect that it once did. Do you know what I mean? For me personally, anyway, I don't know about how anyone else feels, but that's retail therapy. I know it's a real thing, but it's not therapy for me no more.
It's definitely a thing in my household. Not for me, but for the other half. Definitely, but packages daily.
I speak to Thing about that. I don't know what it says.
Yeah, I know you said.
It's always saying ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, brother. Bruv, I saw. I'm sorry, forget it. I was gonna say something, but I don't know how the editing works here, so it might not.
Even still,
I saw someone walk through the gate. I said, "Yo, what's this man on?" Like, I think I'm off a street downstairs. Like, what are you doing? Look at my package. Anyway,
listen. Today, my mum bought a treadmill. These are all right. You know, I saw it. I just happened to I got a trip like literally local, and I said, "Let me go home and eat." Treadmill was just outside the house.
Oh, what? Fully ready to go?
No. But like literally, it was just boxed off outside the block door. Bro, you can't just leave a treadmill out. And but do you know the reason why I said my mum was talking about a treadmill, and that's a huge package. I just looked in. I said, "Did you say you're buying a treadmill?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "You know, it rained today." It was wet, and I was like, "Did you say you buy a treadmill?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "It's just outside." She goes, "What?" Mad.
Yeah, the delivery things are next.
Just outside.
Bro, you know I would have take that in and still claim what? No, sorry, I would never do that. No, because
it's mad still.
It's a treadmill, brother.
It was just outside.
Yeah, they don't care no more.
Brother, that's a treadmill, man. You need to. No one signed for that, have they?
No.
Come on, man.
I see when they send you the email.
Fucking heavy,
are
you know.
Happy with this delivery? I always put no now because I never am. So it's like nah. They never listen to the advice. I say put it in such and such place, and it's just there in front of the front door.
Listen, we got a new washing machine the other day, yeah? Bruv, I get a text from the other half. Because I was saying, is it I'm a bit OTT. I'm like, get them to do a test. Make sure it's not. Do you know what I'm saying? Make sure it's not leaking. I know those girls sit there on Netflix and man's in the kitchen. Yeah, it's done, love, and then put a washing next minute if the kitchen's flooded. I said, text. And I got a text. Oh yeah, it's all working, but they left piss stains on the toilet seat. I said, what?
Excuse me?
Pee stains on the toilet seat. I said, where's that customer thing? Like, as in, you bet, like, that needs to. Was you happy with the service? Nah, this is what got left on. What are you taking? Common courtesy. Can I use the toilet? Yeah, you know, you're out on the road, you need somewhere to go. Bruv, you leave
That's just nasty.
Nasty, brother.
That is nasty.
No home training. Nasty.
Before we get off topic though, let me bring it back to the money ladder. Some of the most common lies we tell ourselves are to permit our spending habits, including things like, if I buy this item now, I will cut back on spending for the next few months. Or I'll focus on saving money next year. Or I'll buy this now and figure out how to pay for it later. I should be able to afford it. Have you said any of these to yourself, and what were some of the purchases?
I've never said the third one, and I think that stems back to what I said earlier in terms of my household, in terms of putting little monies away for rainy days, all that kind of stuff. I've never said the third one, which was, I'll figure out how to afford it. I've never done that. I do know there's men around me that I've seen actively do that. Like, I said, yeah. And then, what was the first two French, sorry?
If I buy this item now, I'll cut back on spending for the next few months, or I'll focus on saving money next year.
The first one, yeah, I've done that where, like, I bought I might be able to pay for something, say a holiday, which I might be going in 6 months, but I know I've got the willpower to say, all right, cool, next 2 months, I know it's going to be tight. Like, I've got that willpower. The second one, in terms of it,
I'll focus on saving money next year.
Yeah, I don't think like that, because as I said, I've already got like separate bank accounts for separate salaries. I've got automatically into a share, so I don't think like that in terms of it's like, nah, we're doing this now. So where you've got the 50, 30, 20 or the 10, 10, 70, so I've already got that in without even realizing I've got it. Yeah. So I don't think like that, because something will always come up every time in life. Something else will always come up. Something will always come up. So even, I think we had this conversation when we was talking about what's going on next year, January, February, about election.
Yeah.
And I said, there'll be something else come end of Jan. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether it's a family, but it's something will always come up.
Yeah. I was gonna say, sorry, do you want to go through them very similar?
If I buy this item now, I will cut back on spending for the next few months.
That's a lie. As in me, I just know that's. I'm never gonna cut back. You know what I mean? I'm quite consistent, boy. If we're spending 10 grand this month, we're spending 10 grand this month, and 10 the next month. I'm very consistent with that, so I know it's a lie.
I'll focus on saving now. I'll focus on saving money next year, and I'll buy this now and figure out how to pay for it later. I should be able to afford it.
Do you know what? The saving next year. I have this, like, my mind has a way of running away with itself, right? As in, like,
when it comes to fines.
No, not even fines. I'm gonna do a lot of that stuff a bit soon anyway. Like, I'm talking about, like, when I mean running away with itself, in my mind I'll be like, I'll be a millionaire next year. I ain't gonna worry about we ain't gonna worry about saving, boy. We're gonna be So I say that. I say that as in, like, in jest, but I mean, my mind does think like that, but in jest. And the other one, I was going to say something in regards to, what was the third one?
I'll buy this now and figure out how to pay for it later.
No, do you know what? I think this year, what I have done a lot of is, like, certain things have popped up and I've gone, we'll have to make it work. Do you know what I mean? We have to make it work. So, for example, going to Germany, like, that was a massive opportunity. We have to make this work. Do you know what I mean? And then someone dropped something on my plate, I think yesterday, or made me think about something, and it made me think. I mean, I haven't done enough research, but in my mind already is whatever it's gonna cost, we'll figure it out. Do you know what I mean? And I guess I'll yeah. It's mad actually, because I was listening to I was mad because we were talking about Ferguson the other day. I don't know why. So I must have been listening to something. He was doing an interview with Ali McCoist, and he said something quite poignant, which I've been thinking about ever since. He goes, whenever opportunities come across, like, basically, I'm just doing it, not doing it justice by saying it like this. When big opportunities come up, you have to take them. Do you know what I mean? You have to take them.
Come on, sir.
Yeah?
Sir Alex.
So, yeah, no, you have to give it to Sir Alex, yeah. So, I guess, I forget even where I was going with this, but like, yeah, I just try to make sure I'm quite forthright or I'm on the front foot in regards to taking opportunities. Or if things pop up, make sure you take them. Do you know what I mean? Because you never know what may happen from them. Do you know what I mean? If I hadn't gone on the course in June, July, I guess I'm quite sure my mind frame or mindset in regards to some of my aims and objectives for this year and next year will be completely different. And even how I came back from Germany in some respect. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, taking opportunities is really important.
Cool.
And yourself? Any of those apply to you?
I have done this before. I'll buy this now and figure out how to pay for it later. But knowing I've had the money to do it, but just like for example, if I pay for a holiday, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me buy this, whatever, whether it's clothes or whatever, whatnot. And yeah, I'll pay it off later on down the line. But that's not a regular thought process. You know what I mean? I like to have my hands kind of covered in terms of if worst comes to worst, then I can just pay for it if I have to.
Yeah.
But I may make a little splurge or a little risk here and there. Do you know what I mean? But in general, no, I don't really live my life like that unless I'm like, what's the second one? No, because even the second one, I'll focus on saving money. I'm always saving, so it's not really I'll wait till next year to start. I'll just continue.
It's automatic.
Yeah, it's just automatic.
It's already built in.
Yeah.
It's not like you're actively having to physically like do something. It's built in.
Yeah,
already.
It's already. It's literally. So yeah, that's probably the one that I would I've probably told myself, but I don't make it a habit. That's for sure. But yeah, just before we tail off for this part, make a promise to yourself that no matter how much money you make in your life, you will always pay attention to where it's going and what it's being spent on. I'm sure you've heard the saying, look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. That's on page 31.